Yeah, here we see the road tool, and the road tool is also quite useful for terrain modification. It consists out of certain points, so you move a point, the road texture gets updated, and obviously you shouldn't do it too much, otherwise the corners are too steep, too sharp. You can redefine them, how detailed they are, and how wide they are, of course, and then use the road tool to actually model the terrain. It's by using the integrated align height map tool. See, it automatically creates a nice terrain slope, and you got your road, your mountain already going down here without doing annoying, let's say, by hand sculpting tool. Like for example, in earlier times you had to do it like this, really fine tweak it, but then there's always bumps inside. But with the road tool, you can really make smooth inclines and declines. And then you might want to check out this section if it plays well. So let's drag a vehicle inside and see how it plays. So like this. Yeah, it's working quite well. So, building, for example, such houses here, we came up with the pretty cool GLM, granular level modeling systems. Like out of little blocks we build those buildings. As you might see here, it's a repetition of certain elements. So you pick one and you say, put it over here, and you can make it snap, use snap tools to really snap it next to each other. Obviously later you need to detail it. It's like, for example here, single elements, put in a sign, put in some air conditioners, and to make this interesting looking. The blocks have a simple physics hull inside, and as you will see, if I turn on the wireframe, it automatically culls the background geometry away, and there's no need for any further optimization like placing manually vis areas or portals. It automatically gets culled, and there's a big frame rate after buildings. So anything what is behind this building here, huge polygons here, is automatically cut away. So frame rate is pretty good in such areas. Same thing is for indoors. Indoors is also all little elements you stick together. You can stretch it, you can deform it, you can rotate it. That's pretty much like in a 3D application. Designers place simple objects, and then their artists can redefine them and make them more high poly, more interesting looking. We can actually work in layers. Layers are single elements of a level. For example, a particle artist might jump into the level and add his stuff to the particle layer, and then at the end of the day everything gets merged and automatically updated. The level can be worked on by different people. You might have one art director who is responsible for lighting, so you can jump in and change the lighting. And there's no need for calculating light maps and stuff like this, because all these soft shadows are updated in real time. Especially here on the corners, you see really nice ambient occlusion. So these are not shadows, these are ambient occlusion in the corners. And when I move, for example, here the light, you see it's really, there's nothing pre-baked here. It's all calculated in real time in engine based on how accessible this area is by light, how open it is. The material editor allows you not just to change ordinary materials, but to also change the shader parameters. As you might see here, we got almost all shader covered, starting from human skin to ice and all cool liquid stuff. Ocean shaders, for example, one thing where you can change the height of the waves, or you can change the reflection, make it more reflective, the sun multiplier, how to make the sun reflection more. By fiddling around with all these things, you can pretty pretty easily get to a kind of photorealistic results in no time. I mean, you tweak it, there's no shader recalculation or so, it's all done in real time. And you get some good results with it. Game logic, for example, adding enemies is done pretty easy. You drag and drop in a new AI character. Let's here's some strange animation. Let's see how it plays. See, he's already working, shooting at me, and with the AI or with any other entity we are adding to the levels, we call it a archetype entity, and the archetype entity links to an actual entity class. An entity class can be later changed on. The artist might want to change the models, or the AI programmers might change the accuracy, but this doesn't matter because the designers placed it only as pointers, as links to those archetype entities. So whenever something gets updated in the database in the futures, they don't have to rebuild the levels because all the entities automatically get updated. It's a huge time saver because there's always constant changes happening. They want to have more ammunition, they want to have different weapons, so you update them and the levels get updated in real time. It's not just ordinary fighting, they can have some idle animations going on, and for those kind of game logic we're using a flow graph, a node-based system that has inputs and outputs, and then you can trigger certain stuff. For example, if they are dead, you can trigger, I don't know, even more reinforcements to arrive, or any kind of thing you can imagine can be triggered and tested here in no time. It's like, for example, I can make him go to a certain point. Let's place a helper point where I want to have him to go to this spot. Why not? This point can be also a different entity. I can make him always follow another vehicle to build up convoys. At the beginning, he starts walking. I change the point. He changes it. I can really test if he makes the way and checks out. So, together with adding logic, for example, I can check if any of a certain condition is met. I can check if this and this is true. Then, if true, then I make it happen. I can check if the player, for example, has this item, then certain things should happen, or it's completely the perfect control over everything in the engine. I can check at the time of day. When it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I change how the ocean wind should be. It's completely open, so it's your own little game creation tool, especially with the possibility to put out stuff on the HUD. You can create a racing game in here, or without any programmer's help. It's all visually possible and can be tested, the results in real time here. I'll just show you here how we do generally our track view animation. It's an integrated track view tool where you can add points to a timeline like this. And at frame 6 the camera should be here, at frame 3 it should be here, and then if you change it, let's move it at frame 1 here, if you change it, it updates, and you can even change now in real time, you can change the timing and add characters here, and you have your own little movie editor within the engine, one mouse click away. Yeah. I think that's pretty much covers the global topics of the editor, that you can build easily and very fast all aspects of level creation.